All right. So this is, yeah, session one of Blades in the Dark. I'm titling this campaign Dregs of Duskvoll because, you're just starting out as a crew and alliteration is fun. So there was, actually, first things first, have any of you played Blades in the Dark before?
Yeah, I've
I
played
have,
plenty.
yeah.
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, it's kind of a dark urban fantasy crime thing. Victorian London, except everything's powered by ghost blood and demon blood. Just yeah. It's oh, and there's no sun, and we don't need to go into the world building super heavily at the start of things, but yeah, like the sun exploded 1,000 years ago, and it's pretty much perpetually night with like bits of twilight every now and then. And you'll be playing as scoundrels in this city. Some low-level crew just starting out and trying to carve out a place for yourselves. Maybe earn enough crew or enough coin that you'll be able to retire to a life of non-violence and somewhat comfort. Uh, So over the chat, I think it'd be best to start off with figuring out what the crew is, and then moving on to character concepts. Over the chat, there was some talk about playing as a crew of Bravos. Does that sound good with everyone still? I mean, if you want to do something different, that cool. Yes, okay, you're all in roll 20. I'm gonna go ahead and hide the other sheet just to, yeah. So if you go into Roll20, if you click on it looks like a newspaper kind of thing in the upper right tab, the journal. That'll take you over to open a thing on the right where you can see sheets for different characters, and for the Bravos crew sheet. I'm gonna go ahead and hide the extra character sheet. All right, so yes, crew creation. We already did step one, choosing a crew type, Bravos. You start off as a tier 0 crew. The tiers go from 0 to 6, I believe. For context, the blue coats, the city cops, are tier 3, I believe. So you're you're on the low end. Yeah, you're just at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And next, question is, what kind of name are you folks thinking for your crew? And we can, come back to that later if we want. Just wanted to get that idea percolating. And
I think maybe come back to it once we have a better feel for the crew.
sounds good. Wouldn't hurt to. Dang it, sorry. Just accidentally poked my cat in the face. So next we go to the initial reputation and layer. Actually, now that we've got the crew type figured out, so I think that might give people enough, at least to start building characters. Would people prefer to start working on characters and come back to the crew?
I guess it depends, like, if people are still, like, interested in that idea I threw out of, like, that we're somehow affiliated with or were once part of some kind of workers' union.
Yeah, I'm into that. I think that's a cool idea.
Cool, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
that.
like that a lot.
I'm just wondering, like, I know one person has put out the lurk. Do other people have any other, like, classes that they're, like, particularly looking at?
I've been eyeing the Whisper, if y'all think that makes any sense in in a crew that punches people for a living.
There are plenty of reasons to have a whisper around.
Always handy to have a whisper. Yep. I think those were the only explicit character types that were pitched in the. Oh, someone wanted to play a spider. Actually, Dan, you also wanted to be a whisper, didn't you?
Oh, I was in the air between Whisper and Spider. I think they're both interesting, but I'm into the Whisper.
I'm probably gonna go with Cutter or Cutter maybe, but I'm also fine running with a Spider perhaps.
All right. Just to be clear, you can multiple people can play the same playbook.
But it's usually more interesting if people like at least talk things out so that we're not all just playing two of the same person.
Fair enough. Just wanted to.
Like we're both playing Cutters with the same starting ability.
I know a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games have an explicit rule, like only one playbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I think I will take Hound, probably.
All right, so we got a Lurk, a Whisper, a Hound, and Steven, you were thinking a Cutter? I think?
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. So yeah, you can see the character creation guide in the Google Drive I shared. Does everyone have a link to that?
It's in the first email.
I'll post it in chat too.
Yeah, I do.
Great. Oh, and actually, before we get too far into things, I suppose I should let everyone, give a chance to introduce yourselves. So yeah, just name, pronouns, quick blurb or plug if you'd like to plug anything. I'm Kyle. He decided to run Blades in the Darks. Played it a couple times. It was a lot of fun. So nice to be on the other side of the table, as it were. Let's go to Dan.
I'm Dan. I use he/him pronouns, and this is my first Blades in the Dark. But I've been playing. I did a quarterly of Band of Blades, and I'm running the other one, Scum and Villainy, for some friends and family.
Fun. I've been wanting to try those sometime. Josh?
Yeah, I'm Josh. I also use he, him. I have played a few sessions of Blades. I've ran a couple sessions of Blades. I like Blades a lot, and I am looking forward to playing.
Great. Chris?
Hi, I'm Chris. They're he. This will be my first time playing Blades. And if I'm semi-unfamiliar, I'm not actually on the gauntlet. I'm Kyle's +1. Is there anything else I need to cover? Cool.
Nope. All right. Steven.
Hey there. I'm Steven, he, him. I have nothing to plug. I just earlier ran today. I finally got a chance to run Polaris. Somebody gained the fate aspect of King of Demons, so that's fun. But yeah, I've played a fair amount of Blades in the Dark and other Forged in the Dark games. I'm looking forward to this because I always feel like the Bravo crew sheet they're kind of a difficult sheet to pitch because like unless you like throw out like a cause to them, they feel a little bit like I kind of said in chat, the amoral people who punch stuff. But yeah.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah. All right. So now there's onto character creation. So step one is choosing a playbook, and next there's choosing a heritage. If you open the character sheets in Roll20, you can see the suggested heritages referring to the main ethnicities of uh, the Blades in the Dark universe. Which actually just occurred to me, I don't know what they call their planet. But yeah, feel free to pick one there, and I can give you a quick summary on the different types if you need that.
I think the continent name is Shattered Isles. It's not a planet name, but the
Yeah,
collective.
I mean, we're circling an exploded sun, and our seas are our gateways are, and we see like a foreign night sky in our seas. So I think like for all we know, the Isles are like an entire world, and then Tikarosi are just like no, they're just on another planet entirely.
you can't prove that's not true. Yeah, there was an apocalypse like 1,000 years ago, and things haven't gone super well since then. And then you can choose your background if you want, and you can choose one of the suggestions listed there or write in your own, and then assign 4 action dots in those to the different types of actions on the right there of the playbook. And the different playbooks come with several dots already, so you just add 4 in addition to that.
Yeah, and I think that the book says like for guidance like one should reflect your heritage, one should reflect your background, and the other two go anywhere.
Yep, that's some helpful guidance if you need it.
And those 4 dots are in addition to the 3 that will be pre-selected by whatever character class you take. It took me
Yeah.
a while to figure that out when I was reading the book, so I figured I'd say it. I might just be slow, though.
No, sometimes it is hard to figure out exactly like what is pre-selected and what you get to pick.
If you have questions about what the different actions are good for, you can just hover your mouse over the name, and it'll pop up. Will describe what it's for. So I'm giving folks time to, finish looking things over, set up your character. Let me know when you're done or if you have any questions.
I'm good whenever, which I imagine y'all know, but I got real excited and did stuff early.
Occurs to me that I'm playing the most absurdly social cutter.
I'm into it. I think I've read a. Didn't the Clockwork Boys essentially have a very charming cutter?
Clockwork Boys?
The novels.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, there was the charming mercenary guy. Yeah.
And so I just want to check in because I know it's not marked this time, but it's marked so often that I just want to make certain it wasn't an oversight on anyone's part. Like, I'm not planning on making this like a big thing where it's like we see it on screen all the time. But I think my character's background is as a meat packer. And so I just wanted to make certain that that didn't like, because there is like harm to animals, that didn't like just cross over for anyone.
Good question.
I'm fine with it, especially if you aren't going to get like super gory about it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm just writing it as my character's background. It's not like the core. It's not like I don't imagine that we will be seeing him flashback to like just I imagine he probably still has meat packing friends, but probably it's not going to be something I'm doing on screen all the time.
I think that's fine. Fine with me anyway.
And I see people have already, added to the lines and veils. Good job. Everything makes sense and uh, looks good there. If you end up wanting to add something else or some other line or veil comes up that you didn't think to add, just don't hesitate to ask. And of course, the X card is always in play if you want to use that. And there's the other safety tools if you want. It's basically the controls for a video, so you can like pause if you just want to talk something over and fast forward if you want to skip bits, rewind, that sort of thing.
I think I'm good to go. There's always a few spots that escape my attention, but I think I've got the major ones.
Great.
Same here, I think. I think that is what we need to get started, at least.
Sounds good. Uh, do you want to put your character name in the title on the? You'll see it on this, so you can see it on the right. If you just click edit, you can change the name that'll appear for the character sheet. If you want to add your character name in there. So, Chris, I know you've got your character set up. Do you want to introduce us to Finch, your lurk?
Sure thing. So Finch is a lurk. Like they have like a boring civvy name, but their vice is the weird, which has led them to kind of keep it relatively hidden, as that's a common superstition as a precaution against black magic. And sort of average height, average build, average size, sort of very average all over, great at disappearing into crowds. Does lots of message running and package delivery, handoffs, dead drops, all that sort of thing. Not really one for fight, prefers to either talk their way out of trouble or run their way out of trouble. And yeah, reflexes is the special ability I picked under the idea of kind of constantly ready to run away from trouble. As far as background, they're from Duskvoll, I think it's Akarosi, whatever like the dominant group is. Completely like boring background, unknown father, mother had the kid, dumped it with their uncle pretty much at birth, and then ran off to go be a soldier in the Unity Wars and ended up getting dead shortly after. And then when their uncle died at age 7, joined up with a shadow crew called, I named them something, the Rookery or something like that, and managed to dodge when that crew got busted. Been a freelancer ever since.
Cool. Do wonder how you wound up in a crew of, bravos, toughs, working for the Union. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Nothing super specific. I kind of assumed that any group is going to need someone to run discrete messages,
Yeah,
so I figured I could
what's
be
your
flexible.
character's heritage again?
The white, or whatever the white equivalent is, like the dominant one.
Yeah, the Akaros.
Akarosi, yeah.
Well, they're, I need to give my little niece or nephew a job. If you're okay with that.
Oh, I mean, my biological uncle died when I was 7.
Oh, okay.
I started working for a shadow crew as like a little spy, a little bird spy at that point.
All right.
But yeah, definitely helps disappearing into a crowd when you look like the dominant ethnicity. But yeah,
I have like 12 younger siblings, so it's pretty likely that like I'm pretty much used to being the dad of the group.
Nice. Uses generally they them pronouns, but will respond to any. Never really bothers correcting people, just sort of sees it as useful to disappearing. Let people think whatever they want, doesn't matter.
I kind of do like the idea that I decided I'm gonna father you whether you like it or not.
Oh, and if anyone's curious, there's a character picture on the bio and info tab, the first tab.
Sounds good. Stephen, I don't think are you ready with your character?
Yeah, I've mostly filled it out here. I just haven't updated their name yet
Cool.
on the thing. But yeah, I'm playing Clave Colburn, who goes by the alias Meat Hook, who he thinks like is spelled Meet. But like everybody, he carries around a meat hook, so he doesn't really get why nobody gets it. Um, like oh, because they think that it's about like the fact that I carry it around, and I'm like, no, I'm just, I'm just. And then I like start getting up on like a potato crate and just start like lecturing folks. Uh, but yeah, I'm Macaros. Extended family living together in a one-room apartment. Uh, my background's labor, meatpacking union agitator. Uh, I I got into some dust-ups with the blue coats. Uh, cut off a few fingers and or hands. Got sent up for a bit of time. Got out, and I'm looking to find a way of getting back at the folks up on top.
Sounds good. I see what you were saying with playing a very social cutter. I see, yeah, lots of points in the social actions like command and sway.
Yeah, I'm a talker. I know how to handle myself in a punch up, and I got into a lot of them. But I fancy myself more of a leader and father to and father to these other folks than just their muscle. And I
Makes
also took like the leader special ability.
I can see that. Yeah, you are the social leader type of cutter. Makes sense.
Yeah, and my looks are when I'm on the job is I'm wearing my old bloody leather apron and splatter mask. The mask, not like just a full on metal mask, but like for covering your identity, but just like the mask you'd wear to not get blood into your mouth when you're working. Uh, meat cleaver hanging off the belt. Bear, I think pretty much sums up his like what he looks like as a person.
Great. Now who's playing the Hound again?
That would be me.
Cool. Would you want to introduce us to Drav Welker?
Yeah, sure. So I am playing Drav Welker, uh, who is a hound. He is a Akarosi uh, expat from the Imperial City. He is not from Duskvoll. Uh, he was at one point wealthy and connected, but he has been disinherited. And as a, in the aftermath of being disinherited, he became a uh, devotee of the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh. Uh, you know, for a sense of community and stress relief. He had enough connections to sort of get in the door to more esoteric stuff that they were doing, uh, and he fit in quite well. Um, for my special ability, I took Ghost Hunter, so he has a trained bird, uh, which he captured in the Deadlands, the Deathlands. So the bird has some, some supernatural energy because like that is the way it adapted to where it is from. I have not picked which of the three options I will give the bird. And I also have not picked the name of the bird, which is why I'm calling it the bird. And then for my contacts, I have Celine, who is a sentinel, who is my enemy. They are a person from my past, I assume, who is, aware of my business in Duskvoll, who I do not particularly like and do not particularly want to be aware of my business. And I have Velarus, a spy, who is a contact. They are, we share information. We have a good working relationship together.
Sounds good. What does Drav think about? I mean, he's a disinherited scion. What does he think about working with people who came from the bottom?
I think he effectively is no longer. He is disinherited. He has been cut off from whatever society he was once a part of, and I think that he is, probably elitist to some extent, but also, needs a job, and it is much easier when you have been disinherited to get a job working for people who don't really care about inheritance.
I think whenever you bring up your history, Clay just kind of starts like scratching his beard and just going like, yeah, it's a real tragedy to lose money. Shame,
Yeah.
shame that you had to lose all that money you had.
Yeah. It's a hard one to get sympathy for.
Yeah, I think my flavor text for background was descended from a long proud line of dirt humping peasants. So same.
All right, and then we've got Dan's character 12s.
Yeah, 12s is originally from the Dagger Isles. It was born on a sailing ship, spent many years on the Ink Black Sea, learned his way around the ship, and turned out to be a bright child. And so his family on the ship gave him all the money they had and sent him off to Duskvoll to get an education. This did not go well. He was a terrible student. Could never choose a major, finally runs out of money, says, okay, I'm going to work in a factory. Yes, terrible at this, no good at labor. Happens to be in the right time at the right place. I think as he's leaving the factory, at the same time, there is some rabble rousing going on outside, some union organizing, and I think 12s decides this I can make money doing this, and I will feed my need for wax cylinders with cool music on them. He's got a good buddy who is a ghost, so already my greatest wish is fulfilled, and a rival who is Skurlock the vampire, who I think may be a professor at that college. I think there was a real Ron Weasley versus Professor Snape situation going on there.
Nice, sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I forgot to mention, just so you know, I saw Tooth the Visitor, who I met up with in prison. He might not be licensed, but he's good enough at cutting into folks, just so people know. And Kale, a vicious thug, who I think is like a. It's difficult. I have so many. I think they're like second or third cousin, twice removed. Runs a crew that does some strike breaking activities for the factories.
Makes sense. And yes, Chris, I think your contacts were Would you mind telling us
Yeah,
about?
not at all. My contacts, so I have a friend in the sort of city clerk's office named Petra who will occasionally feed me information and or act as a go-between if there's a noble who wants something, noble or other sort of higher class person who wants something moved that's not exactly legal and they can't send it through the regular couriers and they can't be seen contracting with, some criminal rando. So she can get me jobs and info sometimes. And on the enemy side, there's a particular blue coat named Dharma who's very interested in me, less for anything that I've done. I'm sort of criminal small fry, but more for the fact that I have at least like surface level contact with a lot of much bigger players, and they're essentially hoping that a small pinch will get me to flip on various employers and get them a bunch of juicy info.
Makes sense. So right, Dan. I've been wondering. Your 12s is the only character who's not Akarosi, and since you're from the Dagger Isles, I'm gonna give you some leeway to talk about like what the Dagger Isles are like, how they fit in the city. Uh, did you want to say something? Okay. Um, So I would think that there'd be a fair number of Dagger Isle people in Duskvoll, especially working in the like factories or on the docks or something. Is that what you were thinking, or did you have different expectations?
That makes sense to me. Obviously, not as many as Akarosi or uh, our indigenous folks, whose the name of which I've forgotten. Um, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say probably a fair number of folks. It's not unusual to see some Dagger Islers in the course of your day, especially if you are near the sea.
makes sense. And I also see that 12s doesn't appear to have many combat skills. Uh,
That is true.
so I guess are you the I don't know, I'd be interested to see, how does 12s generally like contribute to the crew? Feel free to toss out ideas if anyone has them or suggestions.
I think largely in a support capacity. He's got. I think Tinker is can be. I can't quite remember if Tinker is functionally maybe a little bit of medic. Um, so there is that, and of course there's maybe sort of scoping out our battlefields, figuring out the situations before we get into fisticuffs. Might be where 12 does that, but of course he's self-confident enough to think that he can throw a punch or get into a knife fight.
Makes sense.
One of these days he's going to get a good one.
Makes sense. So Tinker is used for medicine. There's a special leech ability that makes you an actual physiker. So you'll be able to do some like first aid and stuff, but it'll be difficult to do the more complicated stuff. It is the move for like picking locks and dealing with traps and things.
Yeah, you can also use it to like work on and improve our weapons during downtime.
And it's Duskvoll is a very haunted city. It's good to have at least one ghost expert in the area. Oh, speaking of, I see that's your special ability is to compel. So yeah, you can attune to the ghost field and compel nearby ghosts to serve or appear and obey.
Yeah, I think that's. It was between that and Ghost Mind. I think I will take the designer's word for it that compel is going to be maybe a little more useful to me.
Sounds good. So if everyone's ready, do we want to go out back to the crew creation?
Yeah, sounds good.
Works for me.
Okay. So yeah, we're a crew of Bravos associated with the Union, mostly Akarosi, with a Dagger Islander, I think. I don't know what the that form of the verb is. Are people what are people's thoughts on like the crew name and the initial crew reputation? The suggestions are, let me pull that up. Initial reputations can be ambitious, brutal, daring, honorable, professional, savvy, subtle, strange, or just pick something else if you'd prefer.
I think either like of that list, strange stands out to me because as a Bravo crew goes, we have a lot of people with at least some weird. Or like we could have more of a like a do-gooder reputation, or like a small fry or something.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe honorable.
Yeah, I think if we are focusing on more of uh, like a less exploitative criminal organization as our protagonists, I think honorable makes sense.
Sounds
I
good.
like it.
Sounds good. So next you establish your hunting grounds. So there's a basically pick a district where you do most of your jobs. That district is in the player kit on page 22. The so the main there are unions in Coleridge, pretty much. That's the main manufacturing set area for the Duskvoll. There are also a lot of farm workers over in the the farm region, the the area surrounding Dunslow and Barrowcleft. What are you people thinking? The more like leaning towards the factory thing or towards the farm area or the docks? I suppose the longshoremen are always
Yeah,
important.
I feel like the factory or the docks make most sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. Slightly leaning towards the factory just because that's
Yeah,
super classic, but we might want to go docks to sort of leverage our weirdness.
Did you say something, Dan? You were muted.
Oh, I was saying, oh, right, in agreement.
Okay. So, docks or factories? Not sure. I'm not hearing a strong opinion one way or the
yeah, I
other.
guess I'm leaning towards factories myself as well.
I would be more than happy with Charhallow or Coleridge. Yeah, the factory.
Yeah, there are a bunch of names in this game. I'm looking at the map and I'm yeah having trouble sorting out which region is which. So I get that.
I think someone even just released like a detailed, like they did as a fan thing, a detailed street map. Like they just released it. So if you like want a street by street map of Duskvoll.
Ouch, that's a lot of work.
Um, Looking forward, like, is there anything that prevents us from eventually expanding to the docks as well, or
No,
taking jobs and yeah.
whenever we get new turf, we also expand our hunting grounds.
Yeah, so it might make sense to start at Coleridge, especially given like the connection to maybe unionizing meat packers and whatnot, and then expand out to the docks later.
Cool.
Sounds good. So next, we need to decide how you all handled with or dealt with the faction that controls the area. You know, basically everything in Duskvoll is controlled by some gang or organization or another. So, um, how did you deal with the? How did you get this initial territory?
Oh yeah, and what's our default starting coin that we're spending down now? I forget. Because you start with coin that you spend down, right?
Yes, I believe it's. You start with 2. Yes.
Okay, just checking so we have it marked there.
Yeah, you start with 2 coin, and you can spend it during crew creation to get better relations with specific factions. So, with this initial, the faction that originally controlled your territory in Coleridge, you either paid them off, giving them a coin in exchange for the area you hunt in, effectively. You paid them 2 coin in order to gain extra status with them, or you didn't pay them anything at all. You took a negative status
Who's
with
the
them.
faction?
That is a good question. I don't think there's a specific one associated with Coleridge in particular, so we can just pick one off the list if we want.
Notables associated with the area are Master Slane, a factory foreman, Belle Brogan, a Skovelander factory worker and union organizer, and Hopper, a drug-addicted whisper who has insights to the district.
Yes, they're not the generally factions. Those are just like specific people. The factions are different.
Okay, I didn't know if any of them were connected to a faction, because sometimes the notable is the head of a faction.
I mean, if we want, like, I'm just kind of looking through here. I think maybe like in terms of the criminal gangs, I feel like I don't know that I don't know how all these factions are off the top of my head, but
It looks like the Lost is centered in Coleridge and Dunslow, and they'd probably like us.
True, yeah, the Lost are a group of street toughs and ex-soldiers dedicated to protecting the downtrodden and the hopeless. That we can absolutely say that they're in Coleridge. So yeah, did you want to have basically bought some territory off of them?
yeah, they're also like only tier 1. I'm wondering who the grinders are.
Grinders are a gang of former dockers and Leviathan
Okay.
blood refinery workers. So there are refineries in Coleridge, so they could be. Yeah, do you want to have basically stolen or bought some territory off the grinders?
Yeah, it feels like they're probably more in the position to like run crime in the district than necessarily the Lost are.
I agree. Just as another piece of the portrait, there's a tier 4 Spark Rights, whose design, facility, factory, and workshop is in Coleridge as well, just so that we
Yeah.
have a bigger picture of the district.
There are also the Bill Hooks, a tough gang of thugs wielding hatchets and meat hooks. They're probably from at least associated with some meatpacking plant, which is
Yeah.
probably also in Coleridge. Yeah, Stephen, I think your character might have a history with them. I mean,
Yeah, I got into some. Yeah, I probably do. They can. They can fuck themselves. They're just blue coat patsies.
I think they're based out of Crow's Foot, if that helps.
Uh,
Their faction thingy says their enemies include the citizenry of Crow's Foot and the docks. So I'm guessing.
we could always, the move things
yeah,
around a bit if it wants
and
to.
and I guess it's also kind of because I do think that it's kind of you that get to make the call on who we're potentially pissing off, like the final call at least. So like if any of these names like we're tossing around, like because this is also your opportunity, I think, right, Kyle, to like say like what also interests you about the setting besides just what interests us.
Fair enough. So personally, I'd root for I'd suggest the grinders or the bullhooks or billhooks.
I mean, I'm fine with us pissing the billhooks off. I'd be all for that. I think
And they're only
I
tier
even think
twos.
that I even think that their allies are explicitly the blue coats. But they are explicitly like the people that the blue coats go to when they don't want to be seen doing something.
Yeah, that tracks. And they're only tier twos, so the amount of instant crushing they could wreak upon us is low.
Well, let me just say, here's my pitch. If we took elite thugs plus I thought there was some other thing. Well, there was something that, like, when you go against someone. Oh no, I think that's from vigilantes. When you go against someone who's a higher tier than you count as like +1 tier.
I think that might be.
I mean, if we took that as our starting move and took elite thugs, technically our thugs might be smaller than a group of blue coats, but they would be equal to them if I was leading them. But no, I was just thinking out loud. That was not necessarily a serious thing. But no, yeah, I'm cool with the grinders. I mean, not the grinders, the bill hooks. I'm cool with them.
Okay, so are you thinking you paid them, or did you screw them over when you took
We
your
didn't pay the
territory?
fuckers.
Yeah, I was about to be like, if we're going billhooks, we definitely took their territory by force.
Yeah.
You think you folks think you thought.
All right. So yeah, the next step is yeah, so you
So
pick your special
what's our status with them then?
-1.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so you're at -1 status with the bill hooks. So
Okay.
they're full out war is at -3. So you're not quite there yet. You've got some
We'll
room
get
to
there.
work with.
We'll
Yeah.
get there. Don't worry.
Next, you pick your special ability, which is in the gray column of the Bravos crew sheet. The one at the top, dangerous, where each PC gets to add +1 to your action with hunt, skirmish, or wreck. That is they always put the default option at the top if you're having trouble deciding.
I mean, like as like this is just me speaking from like from like what I've chosen for Clave, is that I'm pretty good at like working with and leading like cohorts. So like Blood Brothers would also be useful, I feel like, given my abilities, but I'm also fine with dangerous.
I don't love dangerous, just because I kind of like the inherent challenge of being a
Yeah.
Bravo that doesn't really have any combat skills, because right now I don't think I have a single point in anything, even arguably a combat skill.
I also feel like with what we're setting up that door kickers might be a choice. Uh,
Um, I mean, I don't know exactly how fast and loose we're going to be playing, but if we are not exactly concerned with notoriety, then fiends would be
yeah.
very effective.
It like I how many sessions are we running this for?
There are going to be 4 sessions total in June. If people want, I'd be happy to continue playing, adding on some additional sessions if we want to
Yeah,
keep
I
going.
mean, if we're planning on running more than 4 sessions, I think Fiends might be interesting, but with just 4 sessions, like, I feel like it's going to matter so little.
Yeah, it can take some time to up your wanted level.
Yeah, and then it's
That is
also only really matter, it's like only, it also like, also takes time to up your rep to the point that you're going to, that like having one wanted level is going to matter.
Yeah,
true.
and I think some of our abilities also sort of lend themselves to relative stealth, so we might not get a lot of wanted level very quickly.
Well, your abilities. I have fighting and talking to people. Those are what I'm good at. I am not good at stealth.
Talking to people can be stealthy. You can talk your way into things.
Oh, not the way Clave does it.
Okay, fair. I wanted to float potentially taking patron, under the sense of rather than it being a central single wealthy patron, our patron is essentially the budding unions.
That would work for me, yeah.
I like that. I think that's a great. Yeah, I like the skill
Sure.
or the special ability, and also your flavor for it.
Sweet, thank you.
Sounds good to me. I think yeah. Apparently, if you click the patron button, it can make a little notification appear in the
Yeah.
chat. That works for me. Sound good to you, Josh?
Yeah. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
In that case, next we are on to picking the upgrades. You get 2 upgrades pre-selected. For Bravos, that's the Prowse training, and what is the other one?
We have a gang, I think, to start with, of thugs. We have the gang of thugs up in the upper right-hand corner. Not all crews start with a gang.
Ah, yes, there it is. I didn't see that. And that, yeah, you get to pick 2 other upgrades along with that.
Yeah.
The hardened option at the top there, that costs 3 points, so you can't do it at crew creation.
Oh, did somebody just mark elite thugs?
Yeah, is that not the thing?
Oh no, yeah, that's. Oh no, we don't have to mark it though.
Thugs is the thing to the right of that.
Yeah, it's to the right.
Yeah.
I would be all for elite thugs because with me leading our thugs, it does actually mean we'd be fighting the hooks on about equal footing at least.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, I'd be happy to spend one of our points there.
So does that take up a coin, or like how does that?
We'll be handling that in a sec. Because we can choose to spend a coin depending on where we got this from.
We also have one more
Yeah.
to spend. We have
I
one
think
more upgrade to select.
we might want to consider something in the lair, like a lair. Do we have a lair without buying one.
We have a lair, but we just don't have like a place. Like it is basically a place where we meet. It is nothing beyond that right now.
Okay.
And it might be a place where we store some stuff because we have enough space in our lair to store 4 coin worth of stuff. I'd maybe say like secure if we're going full out the like we're gonna piss everyone off. But maybe also quality weapons might be good if we're going to also like think we're going to be like punching way above our pay grade soon or rather than later.
What do you think, Dan? Leaning towards any option in particular?
Yeah, I think yeah, secure or hidden would be, I think, a nice safety thing for the lair. And I mean, if we're in an industrial sort of warehousey district, seems like there could be a lot of alleys and places to be hidden.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like I almost want to be like rather than I like secure over hidden just because I feel like I like the idea that we have this like completely legitimate public facing side that we just like literally have an office we rent somewhere.
I like that flavor. These are not okay. So the two box options on these are like if we do one box of carriage, we've got like not a great carriage, but
We
two
have like a
boxes of
regular carriage and at 2 boxes it becomes armored.
Okay, I was a little confused because of I know that, okay, if the boxes are connected, then it is a all or nothing thing. Cool.
Yep. If they're not connected, you can, it's like upgrades. You can get them one at a time.
Okay. Yeah, I can
I'd
get
also
behind
be cool
secure.
with a carriage just so we have something to roll up on people on.
I feel like that feels like a really early
Okay.
for carriage. Um, I I think there are some mechanical benefits to quarters, but I can't remember what they are.
The main thing is that we are living on site. So like I mean that's the main thing. I don't think that there's I think it's mostly fictional positioning. Otherwise we are bumming other places around town. We have our own apartments. It's easier to catch us out like alone or isolated if we're at war with someone.
Yeah, I think secure makes sense for the sort of, quasi business that we are running here.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. We can consider potentially adding something like quarters, but I don't think that's necessary now. If we get to war with someone, we might want quarters for mutual defense.
Yeah, and one other thing we need to do because we start with a cohort, is we need to give them edges and flaws. So we need to give them 1 or 2 edges and an equal number of flaws.
And the edges are fearsome. The cohort is terrifying in aspect and reputation. Independent, the cohort can be trusted to make good decisions and act on their own initiative in the absence of direct orders. Loyal, the cohort can't be bribed or turned against you. Or tenacious, the cohort won't be deterred from a task. And the flaws are principled, they have a code or ethic. The savage, they're excessively violent and cruel. Unreliable, they're not always available because they have other obligations. Or they're, wasted and just pass out in an alley when we need them. Or they're wild.
I think
Like, go
loyal
ahead.
and principled. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think loyal and principled make the most sense. What do y'all think?
I maybe like the idea of fearsome and principled. I like perhaps the idea that they might be principled, but that they still might turn on us for like fictional reasons.
Is fearsome, is that scaring us or scaring the citizenry?
I think it means they can be scary when they want
Yeah.
to be.
Like I kind of envision it as like they are people you don't want to fuck with. Like that is kind of how like they present themselves on the job.
Would tenacious make sense for that? Because I fearsome feels like they're like threatening regular people, and I imagined that these are
I mean,
essentially kind of union members.
like I don't necessarily view it as like a thing they have to have on all the time. I viewed it more as a thing because it's an edge. It's not like a flaw. If it was a flaw, I would say like yes, they are like threatening to people we don't want them to be threatening to. But as an edge, I saw it as like they are capable of being threatening and fearsome in a when fighting starts going down, and they can cow people into like surrendering and whatnot.
Okay, works for me. What do the rest of y'all think?
But I guess it's also like what up to, because I guess it's also the question of like what it means to Kyle as well as the GM.
Sounds good to me. I am curious what you think, Dan and Josh.
Yeah, I agree that principled makes sense. Um, I think that I think that fearsome or tenacious could work. Um, I think I think tenacious might work a little bit better with the sort of concept.
Yeah,
Sure.
that works for me.
So yeah, like tenacious and principled, I guess.
Tenacious does seem like it might fit a little bit better.
Sure.
All right. Oh, thanks whoever put that in the roll 20. And right. Not quite. There is. So when you got your upgrades, one faction helped you get these upgrades. You take +1 status with them, and one faction was harmed when you got the upgrade. I think this can be the same factions as. You could pick the bill hooks again if you really wanted to make them angry.
Although I think you actually, again, it's we can throw out ideas, but I think it's also like final say is the MC gets to choose it, and then we choose how to respond.
Yes, so I think I will pick the two factions there, and one of them I'm going to pick as the Dimmer Sisters, just because I like the Dimmer Sisters. I think they're cool. They're okay, there's more than one sister, but people aren't sure how many there are or
Yeah.
if they're exactly related. And they don't leave their house, but they manage the ghost trade and like the like covert sale of electroplasm, which powers everything in Duskvoll.
So are we pissing them off, or are they helping us?
I can't think of a reason they'd help us, so presumably we're pissing them off.
Or no, I think you said that you were choosing one to help us, right, Kyle?
Oh, going to I was going to pick two factions and let
Right.
you decide how you
Oh, okay.
interacted with them.
Sure.
So the Dimmer Sisters are one, just because I'm a big fan. And for the other one, let's pick the Gray Cloaks. A whole bunch of blue coats who got kicked out of the City Watch for being too corrupt.
I mean, I think if anyone, I think maybe like the Dimmer sisters like the idea of some of the factories not being able to have as much power to operate, along with the blue coats too. Maybe they helped us out with with setting up some wards and protections on our offices.
Sort of another potential idea. The Grey Cloaks might have been the ones to help because they probably have no particular fellow feeling towards Bluecoats. And the thought of blue coats essentially having someone keeping them busy so the gray cloaks can do crime with less trouble might have led them to help.
Sure. How do you think we would have hurt the Dimmer sisters in that case? Because the other thing is that we also have had to like piss them off in some way in acquiring these upgrades.
I've been thinking the Dimmer Sisters try to control all the trade of electroplasm in the city. So, I mean, there's a lot of high-grade electroplasm used to power the factories. Maybe some folks were, siphoning some bits off. Like some drums went off. They just vanished. And if some houses get a little bit more heating, I don't know. What a coincidence.
I'm cool with that.
I like that a lot, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
So, moving back to, I like the game, but the rule book could be organized a little bit better. So what are you thinking? You could spend coin to get, okay, so the Grey Cloaks helped you. You start off with +1 status with the Grey Cloaks, or coats, Grey Coats. You could spend a coin to get to +2 status with them.
Have
I don't
we?
think we'd seek
I
them out
mean, if
that way.
really they are, if anything, cops light, we can say thank you and then be on our way.
Yeah, I got the impression it was more of a mutual convenience thing that had them helping us out, not any great love.
Okay. And then that takes us to the Dimmer Sisters. So if you spend no coin, you'll be at -2 with the Dimmer Sisters, meaning you'll be on the verge of war. Or you can spend a coin to go up to -1.
I mean, I feel like the Dimmer sisters going to war with them would be a distraction from our real goals here.
Also, suicidally stupid at this power level. So let's make nice.
Okay. Does that work for the other two of you?
Yeah.
All right. So you're at -1 status with the Dimmer Sisters and down to 1 coin. Next, I pick your favorite contact.
Well, we pick the favorite contact, and then you say who they like, who likes them, and who doesn't.
Yes.
So we have Meg, the pit fighter, Conway, the blue coat, Keller, a blacksmith, Tomas, a physiker, Walker, a ward boss, and Lutz, a tavern owner. So I personally am already friends with a physiker, if just as a heads up. I can maybe introduce him to some of my friends, try to, I've friends who need a bit of patching up. He sometimes forgets the anesthesia, but pay no mind. He's good enough.
A blacksmith makes sense to me. I feel like there would be a lot of iron work in this area, and I mean it's a laborer. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think the blacksmith probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, so and one faction likes the blacksmith and one doesn't. I'm gonna say that the blue coats don't like the black Keller because We don't come with pronouns on Keller. I'm going to go with she.
Sure.
The Bluecoats don't like her because she's been supplying some, other gangs with weapons and whatnot. And so, yeah, they're kind of angry about that.
Good on her. Class solidarity and whatnot.
And one likes her. So for that, you know what? I'm going to go with make a special faction clock just for the citizens of Coleridge. Just she's a hometown girl made good.
Yeah. I mean, there is citizenry right over there.
Yeah. Citizenry of Coleridge. And I think, yeah, the crews are made, the characters are made. I think we're ready for your first score. So I'm gonna call.
Don't we need a name?
Oh yes, you do need a name. What are people thinking about that?
I mean, I see something like the Goodfellows Association or something like that. But if other people have other ideas, always feel free to throw it out.
Well, I know Oddfellows is I think it's a classic Union thing. I could be wrong. That's sorry. Spoke without remembering the right thing.
Something about the local is a thing, right?
Yeah, local plus a number is a frequent name for a union.
Local number 86?
Okay, but are unions so established in this world that there are 85 other offices of unions in the world?
Oh, the 86 was a joke about the slang term for throwing something away, like because we.
Oh, okay.
People.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was just me being a wise ass.
All right. Sorry, I didn't pick up on it.
No worries.
We could always do something like, the Coleridge Workers Grievance Association.
I mean, I'm cool with that.
If this is not a place where unions are well established enough to have, a storied lineage of local numbers.
Works for me.
All right, works for me too. So I'm gonna go ahead and call a break, and we can come back to your first job. Let's meet up at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock my time.
All right.
See you all then. Alrighty, so we've got some time left, and I'm thinking we can go on to your first job of the, let me see the full name here, Coleridge Workers Grievance Association. So yeah, I think we can start off, first scene in your lair, which you talked about renting a building. So in Coleridge,
I think it's like at level 1. It's not even a building. It's like a tiny office space.
Okay, renting a small little office space. What floor are you on, out of curiosity? Because, in Coleridge, well, actually pretty much everywhere in Duskvoll, the buildings tend to be narrow and tall. Unless it's a manor.
I feel like it's kind of like this is prior to because historically the best before you had elevators everywhere, the most expensive real estate was the first floor because then you didn't have to walk up all the stairs. I feel like we're probably a 9th floor office.
Yeah, we might not even maybe in some I don't know, weather catastrophe, part of the top of this building has been smashed off. We are just below that, and maybe people don't know we're here, or we are not necessarily paying rent. We're just squatting.
Oh, so you're saying Clave shouldn't have stenciled on the Coleridge Workers Grievance Association to our front door.
I think that's fine. No one comes up here to see it.
So as you're, sort of hanging out in your lair with your elite cohort of thugs, you hear a knock
Two
on your
guys.
door. Yes, it is at this point. You're level 2, so it's like 2 people. Yeah. You hear a knock on your window. Your several story up window.
Have you got your let's see, who are could people as a like helpful bit can people everybody just realize, can we change our name so we know who each other are at the glance?
Yes, you can change your name in Zoom. Just right-click on your video screen, and you can select rename.
Oh yeah,
from
no, it wasn't a question if we can do it or not, just if. Cool. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I glance over at Drav and say, you got your gun trained on the got your gun trained on the window, Drav?
Drav is sort of leaning against the wall with his coat still on, and he is sort of staring out of the window. I think there might be a board or two in the window. And he's looking out at like the slit between the two boards where the window is a little bit cracked. Yeah, he nods. He says, "Yeah, you see why? You see someone?"
I think between the cracks, you can just make out a kind of figure. Someone is floating out there, several stories up.
This is not strange. This is weird. This is probably someone I know. Would you like me to get the door, the window?
Well, it's downright inhospitable to leave them out on the front step, so to speak.
Yes,
Start
fine.
putting on some mushroom tea.
Fine. I'll pry a board off. Just a minute. Coming. Just gonna pry one of those hastily nailed on boards off.
Sorry, Chris is having some trouble with the muting.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Excellent. I was just gonna say Finch is gonna be staying as close to the nearest exit as possible and looks somewhat freaked out.
Yeah, the thugs are going to follow Drav's lead and just kind of sidle up next to him, like weapons ready, like waiting. Do we attack? Do we shoot? They're listening to, actually probably listening to you, Clave. I get the feeling that you probably work with them the most.
Probably. I do have the leader ability, so I'm the one that's probably commanding them when things go down.
All right, so yeah, 12s. You pry loose one of the boards, and you see sort of ghostly glowing eyes floating outside the window, and a voice echoes in, "The Dimmer Sisters have a request."
You'd like to come in, have some tea on here?
Don't invite it in!
No, this guy is fine. It's fine. No, I'm sorry. Would you like to come in and have some tea?
Make it strong and disgusting like Grandmam Colburn like to make it.
The ghostly figure is going to just sort of drift through the window and the other boards and float into the room. You can't make out a ton of details. The features and edges are all blurry. All that stands out are a pair of, or are sort of glowing chains wrapped around the ghost. And it says, "The Dimmer Sisters have a job for you."
Well, by all means, that's fantastic.
Oh wait, should we be rolling to resist because this is a ghost?
I think you've gotten enough warning. It's
Okay.
not
Just
aggressive
checking.
enough. Yeah, you don't quite need to roll for like
Okay.
resisting fear quite yet. But it is, I think, your thugs are definitely scared because this is the most put together ghost they've seen in a while, and they're generally scared of the Dimmer Sisters. Most people are.
As a member of the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh, I am not a fan of ghosts, generally. I find them heretical to my religion. And also, I have a bird that is trained to hunt ghosts. So, Drav is scowling a little bit. But
Finch
he
has.
won't speak up.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just saying,
No,
Finch
that's
has
all.
non-specific weird related trauma, and not like the mechanic, just angst. And so is looking real nervous and kind of edging towards the staircase. Still within earshot, but ready to flee.
Ashel and Caro, stop your gawking and get on with keeping watch.
Yeah, the thugs sort of sidle out of the room to watch the stairwell, everything else, and the ghost looks at you all and is like, "Someone hasn't been. Someone's been smuggling electroplasm, and they haven't paid their share to the Dimmer Sisters."
Is this someone outside of this room or in it at the moment?
The ghost smiles, and the lips curl back a bit further than their face, just sort of Cheshire cat style, like the smile's a bit bigger than the face can fit. It's like, "Oh, if it were you, you would already know. It's the Bill Hooks. They've been running a fighting ring, lit with lamps powered by stolen electroplasm, and they haven't paid their share to the Dimmer Sisters. Go there, smash the place up, make them suffer, and we will forget the offense you have made to us."
Just to be clear, go smash up a fighting ring that our hated enemy, the Billhooks, run. And the compensation is you won't be mad.
And out of character, you'll get to pick through the wreckage, grab loot. I mean, you will get some coin just from robbing the place after you've smashed it up.
That makes sense. Okay.
I mean, I was planning on saving smashing it up for my birthday, but if the Dimmer Sisters wanted us to get on that,
Okay, but that's going to push us pretty hostile with the Billhooks.
It sure will. It sure will.
I'm just saying, there's an arithmetic here of if they hate us after this, if we do anything against them without kissing some serious ass first, which I have no interest in, we're gonna get smashed like last week's rat stew.
Well, I can't imagine the Dimmer Sisters will be very happy if we refuse, so I think it's sort of a damned if we do, damned if we don't.
I'm not saying no, I'm saying let's develop some sort of, offsetting strategery.
I mean, Finch, I just to point out, like the Billhooks do not have folk that can float in through our 9th story window.
I'm not telling the Dimmer sisters no. We're definitely doing what their ladyships want. I'm just saying, like, maybe we have to do a little bootlicking too.
If by that you mean licking the floor with them boots, I agree.
Out of character, that's delightful.
The ghost looks around at you again and asks, "Will you take the job?"
Yes? Yes. Yes. Right? No? Yes? No?
Yes, I think what my friend means to say, my electroplasmic friend, is sure, that sounds fine. Tell the Dimmer sisters it will be done.
And I just want to let you know, we don't plan on keeping doing free jobs for nothing. So you should let the Dimmer sisters know that as well.
They have already heard your words. And just without breaking eye contact, the ghost sort of just floats back through the wall and vanishes, out of sight.
I hate whispers. No offense, 12. But do you have to be so weird?
Yes, generally we do, but on the weekends I'm much more chill.
So you've taken the job. What's your plan? Or what are you going to do now?
Well, Clavis is very good when things begin fighting, and very good at talking to people. He's not so good at the whole like planning, looking things over. I mean, actually, I've done a lot of talking here, so I kind of want to throw it out to other people to do what they think first.
As
Are
a
we
lurk, oh,
just...
sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
As a lurk, I can like scope out the area. What do y'all think?
That seems like a fine first step. See if we can't find any entry point that might give us the advantage. We're going to be coming in not just on the bill hooks, but the bill hooks that are running a fight ring. So gonna be some spilled blood, I should think.
So if that's how Finch will be gathering information, do the rest of you have any plans on how to, size up the place yourselves?
I mean, for myself, I'm probably kind of asking around some of the other. I probably don't go into the Bill Hooks establishment themselves, but I'm cozying up with some of the other kind of fight clubs in the district, seeing what's on the grapevine there.
Makes sense. Drav 12s?
I think 12s might be conferring with some of his undead buddies, maybe contacting Nerix and seeing if there are any, if there's any sort of, hang on, brain is not great today. Seeing if there's any information to be gathered by the Ghost Network.
That sounds good. What about you, Drav?
I think that I will post up nearby, with a view of the entrance, whatever entrances I'm aware of. Just sort of keep a tally of how many people go in and out, and maybe if anyone notable is like a frequenter.
All right, so now we start with the gather information roles. I think we'll be starting with I'll start with you, Finch. So what you could easily be studying the place from like the outside, or I could see you trying to like sneak in, get a look around the place from the inside. Learn the layout, that sort of thing.
Um, I was thinking sort of surveying it from above and blending into the crowd, just sort of walking around, looking at entrances and exits and watching the general flow of people who comes in and out.
Sounds good. So if you open up your player sheet in
Mm-hmm.
your character sheet,
Mm-hmm.
and you can, I think the only thing that sounds like a, survey roll.
Yeah.
So you can just click that.
I think my position is controlled because I'm going about it in like a careful way.
Yes, gather information rolls they're a little bit different in that they're pretty much always safe. The things don't get too bad until we get into the actual job part. So
Cool. I hit submit. Did it do the thing?
you should be asked about your position.
Okay. I clicked my position. Effect standard, limited, great, extreme, 0.
Just hit standard.
Standard. Any bonus dice? I don't think so.
Nope.
Okay. Where do I find my result?
That's in the chat page.
Oh, poor Finch.
Oof.
Oh,
Luckily, it was gather information.
Yeah, fortunately, this is gather information, so nothing too bad happens. You just don't manage to learn much. It's a surprisingly popular place. And just between all the crowds, the comings and goings, you aren't able to learn much without standing out. I think I tried a little few stairs and then you back off. So let's go to Drav. In your case, you've been studying the place. Just picked out it it sounds like were picking out a perch, just sort of watching it for a while. Drav.
Yes, I think he is probably on the roof of the building that overlooks it. Just sort of looking down, taking note of every time he sees someone come in, every time he sees someone come out.
Okay. I think that's a hunt roll for scoping out your quarry, as it were. So go ahead and roll that.
All right. Position.
Just hit put controlled.
All right. That is a critical.
Nice. You watching the comings and goings, you spot a few people who leave without entering, as it were. So that tips you off to something, and you're able to spot there appears to be a secret entrance a block or two over. Coleridge, this place used to be a mining area, and before most of the tunnels flooded, and there are still a bunch of sewers and drainage tunnels and old mines. It looks like they found an old tunnel that leads into the back area where they bring in supplies, that sort of thing. So you also get a pretty good look about the roughly how many guards there are and their schedules.
Okay.
From the looks of things, the Billfolks are running this on a budget, hence why they didn't bother paying the tithe to the Dimmer sisters. It's bare bones, maybe a few guards nominally. Let's say 3 guards. Okay. A few guards, fighters themselves. They don't seem like practiced fighter. It honestly seems like they've just rounded up a couple local youths willing to take a few punches for a little bit of coin.
All right, great.
And who wants to go next? 12's Clave?
Yeah, I can go next. I think, commune with the spirits of the area. Maybe try to get a sense for where there's a concentration of electroplasmic energy in this building in this area. I'm not sure if it resonates with 12's inner vibrations. We are after electroplasm. They've been siphoning some off. Is that correct?
They smuggled some electroplasm in without paying the Dimmer sisters their share.
Gotcha.
Okay, roll the tune.
Okay.
It'll be controlled and standard effect.
And cool. That is 4.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to figure out. You can attuning to the spirits. You get there are a few vestiges, like old ghosts, lingering around the place. From the way they're congregating, they can probably smell where the electroplasm is. It's in the back, really powering the lights near where the tunnel, the secret tunnel that Drav found, lets in. And on to Clave. I think you had a few things you wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was really kind of just one. I'm sort of like hanging around the other fight clubs in the district, seeing what I can hear about this this place of the bill hooks on the grapevine, as it were. I think it's probably a consort I'm rolling with here.
I think so. Go ahead and roll that.
This is just a fortune roll, right?
Yes. Or not quite a fortune roll. It would be a consort roll, but...
Well, yeah, but you can choose fortune roll for consort.
Oh, then yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, you don't learn much. Sounds like people are like, "Oh, that place. It's a rat's nest. It's the fights are shit. The beer's watered down. It's a crummy place. But hey, if you're on a budget, you might as well, right?"
Then one of my hookups in the ring notices me, start wrestling. Don't learn much more.
Makes sense. So you've got some basic information on the place.
Question about mechanics. Are we allowed to try any other stuff, or is it just one action each?
You're allowed to do more, gather information. What are you thinking about?
Consorting? Seeing if any of my contacts have heard anything? It's not as high a mark, but I thought it might be worth a shot.
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Oh, I got a 6.
Okay, yeah. With the 6, I'm gonna say, yeah, you learn that it's a pretty new place. It's the new venture out from the billhooks. Sort of they're dipping their toes into this area, that kind of venue. Really, it's a pilot project, as it were, trying to see, does this go well? Is this worth the money? And it's from the sounds of things, they're worried about putting too much, risking too much coin on this venture. Hence all the cost cutting.
Do, either through this role or in general, do we have a sense of who their enemies are?
Uh, the bill hooks, yeah. From the sounds of things, they're. You've heard some recent clashes between them and the Greycoats, and just let me pull up the faction suggestions here for the main book.
I think in general, the general populace kind of hates them.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just thinking in terms of if we can make it look like someone else hit them, preferably someone bigger, that'd be advantageous.
yeah. From the sounds of things, the most of the citizenry hates them. The blue coats, or sorry, the gray coats hate them. The Scovelanders in particular hate them for some reason. They're not a very popular bunch.
Blue coats love them though.
They do like the blue coats, or the blue coats like them, which is probably why the gray coats don't, because the gray coats and blue coats had a whole falling out over the whole. They got kicked out of the blue coats.
Could we try to make it look like the Bluecoats betrayed them?
That would require some blue coat uniforms, which is a bit more difficult than. I mean, it would take you a while to scrounge those up, get some decent fakes going, and it kind of sounded. Sorry, I had a cough. Sounded like the Dimmer sisters wanted you to move a bit faster than that.
Okay, makes sense.
So you've collected some info. What kind of job are you thinking for this?
So it sounds like we don't really have a more like other entry point other than like going in through the front door, because we didn't do too well on that gather information roll, if I remember correctly.
Well,
No,
we are aware of a back entrance.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Drav found a side tunnel that led to the place.
And 12's ghosts sensed that that's where they're keeping their electroplasm. Could we just sneak in the back, heist the electroplasm, and deliver it to the Demmer sisters as a here's your go juice?
Well, although I'd remind you, we're not actually being they haven't actually promised us pay for this job. Like any pay we get is from like looting their place.
Yeah,
we
well,
could.
it seems like it'd make more sense to come in the back.
Yeah.
Go as far as we think it is reasonable to go into the establishment, and then steal everything that isn't tied down.
Yeah, I'm fine going like I feel like stealth, and then like eventually when things go wrong, start busting things up.
Yeah. And, I mean, if nothing else, if we steal the electroplasm, all their lights go away. That seems tactically useful.
There may be a way to damage the lights with the electroplasm, I assume.
Oh yeah, that's probably possible. I mean, power surges happen. Okay, sounds like I don't think you're. How stealthy are you going to try to be here? Is this going to be like a stealthy sneak-in thing, or just a smash and grab? Well, kick the door down and smash everything up.
I don't think we're kicking the front door down. Like it seems like we're going to probably try to do a stealthy assault on the back door guards and see how far we can get in without like causing a big security response from them.
Alrighty, let's do a stealth engagement roll then.
Okay. So one for start, and then what else? What are the other things affecting this roll then?
I'm pulling up the list of questions.
That the engagement role is not in like any of the rule summaries, I find also very weird.
Oh, that explains why I couldn't find it. Okay. Oh wait, no, there it is. It
Oh, it
is
is.
in the player kit. It's hidden on page 28.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start with one die for clear sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
I mean, if we
Uh,
had bashed our way in through the front door.
I mean, but they are 2 tiers above us.
I don't know. It seems kind of the standard level of bold or daring to me.
Okay, so is that a die
Okay.
or yes or no then?
That's a no.
Okay.
Does the plan detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? It does expose a vulnerability. Drav found that the weakness there,
Right.
so that's an extra die. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Um,
I mean, my contacts told me about how they're like not paying much, like they're not paying their guards much, so maybe it'll be real easy to bribe the guards to wander off or something.
I think that'll work. I think actually with that 6 consort roll, I can see you just finding the, like, oh yeah, at like the certain the hours of the day where the place is basically dead. So
Okay.
there's only like relatively few guards. Okay, so that's another die there. And are there any other elements that you want to consider? I don't think so. So
Well, they're
just
higher tier than us.
yes, but they're not. Okay, yeah, I'll take away 1 die for that.
Okay.
And
Cool.
are you making that roll?
Yep, I have it right open right here.
Thank you.
Oh well. As I said, until things go like stealth until things go south.
Okay, yeah, you are at the rear entrance. Uh, let's see, who has the highest tinker in the group?
Oh, the 2 guards aren't outside; they're inside.
The guards are inside the. I mean,
Oh, okay.
you're at the secret entrance. I guess there are no
Oh,
guards outside the
okay.
secret entrance.
Okay, I thought this was more a loading dock type situation. All right.
Did you want to say something, Dan?
Yeah, I've got a 1 in Tinker.
Okay, so I think while you're working on the lock for the secret entrance, at that moment, you hear some voices behind you, and it sounds like a whole bunch of bill hooks are coming over to make another dropment of some more electroplasm, other supplies for the fighting rink, and you don't have the door open yet. What do you all do?
Could we dodge? Let them open the door for us?
It's going to be kind of tricky to hide. You're in a narrow alley. The kind it's everywhere in
Also, our
Coleridge.
load.
Oh yes, you will need to pick your load.
I think
So
I think if our intent was to not go in too loud, I probably can't go heavy, so I'm gonna go with normal.
I generally stay light unless I have some compelling reason otherwise. So I pretty much just look like another person in the crowd.
Drav is normal, I think, for this.
I think 12s is also on the light side.
okay. So yeah, you're in this fairly narrow alley. It's everywhere in Coleridge. If it's not one of the main streets, all the paths are pretty narrow. The place was not designed with proper zoning and safety in mind. So there aren't a ton of places to hide. It'll be a struggle to find some place to hide out of sight while they sneak in.
I mean, Clave is going to look to what was the names I gave them? I made a note of it here. Ashlyn and Caro. Looks like you're going to be earning your keep here tonight. And I heft my big, like I have like a little cleaver and a big cleaver. I'm hefting the big one over the shoulder. Time to serve up some cuts of meat.
Okay. If you're heading into combat, you don't know exactly how many are coming, but you can just hear the sounds of a few footsteps, and it sounds like a trolley or something full of gear.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. If you have an idea, Finch, go ahead.
Oh, I was just, I have reflexes, so I can at least, like, drop out of sight, so maybe I'll be able to hit someone over the head by surprise later.
Yeah, and I think probably before, like, I'm probably not gonna try to take them by surprise yet because I want to try to keep this from going. Like, I know I said that, but I know I said the whole bloody thing, but I think like my preference is to like kind of go up with my crew backing me up and stare down this group and see if I can't keep them cowed while we make our keep them cowed from trying to pick a fight with us. Like I think that little speech I gave, I say as I like step out to confront this group, and probably as Finch is like trying to drop into the out of sight.
That sounds good. Yeah, I think this is going to be a desperate command roll.
Cool.
It sounds like you're trying to convince them to just like don't get involved, just walk away.
Yeah, basically. Do you have a devil's bargain? Probably that they remember my face after all this is done.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I'll take that. Desperate. What was it? A desperate what?
Desperate position, and I'm gonna go with probably limited effect because this is like their establishment. You're gonna have to. It's gonna be a struggle to.
I'm wondering if the fact that I'm wielding my fine heavy weapon and have my crew having our cohort back me up here might affect that position at all.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll change that to standard position.
Okay. Cool.
And if anyone wants to help, you can spend 1 stress to give them an extra die. Or Clave can spend 2 stress to give himself an extra die.
I took the devil's bargain, so I can't.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
But if anybody else wants to, if Grav, like you have the gun, if you want to pull that and start pointing at folks, that'd be much obliged.
Yeah, I will do that. I will mark my fine pair of pistols, and I, pull one out of my coat and sort of posture with it.
And these youngins, they don't know how to handle themselves in front of a veteran. I'm gonna push myself to have great effect here. Let's see if we can't get these folks really out of the fight. So that's 2 bonus dice. Hopefully this goes well. Hey, 6.
Nice. Yeah, so you all square up, ready for the fight, get the gun out and everything, and the footsteps come closer and you hear a voice. One of them's like, yeah, you should have been there. It was a great fight. 6 rounds in, both got these massive black eyes. They could barely see each other, but they just didn't go down. They kept fighting and fighting. And then they round the corner and see you. And then
and I'm stepping out in my blood-splattered smock and face mask, cleaver over my shoulder. I look like something out of a horror movie, frankly. And yeah, go ahead.
They freeze. They just look at all of you and they're like, uh, uh, "We're just
Now
here
I
to make
think
a
you're gonna.
delivery."
Now I think you're gonna want to lay down your arms and mosey on your way before things get bloody here.
The yeah, the person in the lead looks over, his shoulder at the other. It's like they're let's go with four total. Looking at them, looking back at you, and yeah, they turn and they just start running. I think leaving the
Gonna
trolley
leave.
behind.
Ah, good. We were gonna need one of those anyway. Ashlyn, Caro, see if you can't pull this up alongside the entrance. Gonna be hauling some goods back. Is there anything in the cart to begin with?
Uh, there's a small cask of beer, some snacks, like not like great food, but like I want to say pretzels, but flour is actually relatively expensive. Oh, algae flour, some mushrooms, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Small thing of electroplasm.
Do well on this job, Ashton Caro. That keg of beer is for you two. But yeah, I assume we want to shift over to 12, who I think is at this door.
I think I've
Yes.
almost got it. I'm so close. Soon this lock will be opened, and I will sup on algae flour pretzels. I think it's a straight tinker roll. Let me see here. I brought tinkering tools, so that makes sense. But they're not fine tinkering tools, so that doesn't give me any kind of advantage or anything like that. Don't see. I think maybe he pushes himself. Yeah, a 1 in tinker he'll push himself just to not embarrass himself in front of his cohorts. What does this look like?
I think it's going to be a controlled position standard effect.
Okay. The 1 just pushed himself. There we go. Oof. All right, that is a 3.
Okay, on
It's controlled, so.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, you're having some trouble. This is a tricky lock. Maybe it's the dark, or maybe it's the surprisingly nice lock for the thing. But you are having having some trouble picking it, and you're starting to hear some feet moving around inside. Maybe people are wondering where the drop off is tonight. So you don't have a ton of time to keep fiddling with it.
Could I guess this would be jumping back just a few minutes. Could I pick the pocket of one of the people who didn't know I was even with this group as they ran away?
Yeah, I
That
think
could be
so.
a flashback.
Yeah. So I guess like while the camera was on the door, I was looking like just another person down the alley. I picked one of their pockets. What is that? Prowl or finesse?
That'd be finesse.
Okay. So I think that's a risky position. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Standard effect. And I don't think I'm eligible for any bonus dice, so I'm only going to be rolling, what, 1?
Well, remember, you can push yourself or take a devil's bargain.
What would a devil's bargain be in this situation?
Devil's bargain would be they notice your attempt. They well, let's see.
That doesn't quite make sense, because if they notice, they just take the key back and then beat me.
I think the devil's bargain would be that as they run away, they slam into you. You would take like level 1 harm, just as they accidentally bump you against the wall pretty hard as they're running by.
I think that's fair. I'll take a bonus die. Okay. Okay, I got a 4 and a 2.
Okay, on a 4, yeah, you get the key. Yeah, I'm gonna say you get the key and you take that level 1 harm. But it'll work on the outer door only. It's not gonna unlock any internal doors.
I'll take it.
And go ahead and take an extra stress for the flashback, just because yeah.
Okay, where's stress?
You have a stress track right above the harm.
Ah, gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, you have the door open, and you hear some feet moving around inside, but no one's coming your way right now, and it's just a sort of a dark ramp heading down a little tunnel over about a block, and then back up into the well, not back up, just a ramp going down from street level over about a block and into the basement of the fighting ring, where you know that the electroplasm generator is.
And as an aside, I like the idea of 12's just going, I got this, and then like Finch just dangles the key right next to your face.
I like having insurance policies. If 12s had gotten it open, I wouldn't have said a thing.
So you've got the trolley, you've got the door open, and no one's the wiser right now. What do you do?
What if we post up inside, close the doors so no one, notices that it's open, and then one of our stealthy characters, possibly me, like scouts ahead a little bit.
That makes
What do
sense. I probably, if we're going inside, I probably have probably turn to Ashlyn and Caro and have them stand watch at the back entrance, make certain nobody comes around to try to flank to cut off our exit.
Sounds good. Drav and Finch, you are the two stealthiest of the group. Do you want to sneak in together?
We can take turns. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a thing that we can do a group action where we all sneak together.
Oh right. Yes, that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, because I just remember we do have the group action now. So is it instead of fictionally, it's that maybe Finch is scouting the way, but we are all actually just sneaking in as a group stealth prowl roll?
If that's what you want to do, I mean, you can all sneak in together, or just Drav and Finch could go in as just the two of them scouting ahead. Let's maybe keep things simple and do it as a group action for the whole crew.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll prowl. Let's go with risky position, standard effect.
And Finch is the leader here.
I think so. I have 2 prowl.
So
It doesn't really matter what your prowl stat is for being the leader.
Let's say Finch is the leader, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, you said risky. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Risky position standard effect? Got it.
Oh.
I got a 1 and a 4.
Okay, you saved us, Finch. You saved us. But you are taking now 3 stress because all of us just bombed our prowl rolls. You're just like, no, don't step into the light.
And totally imagine Finch just slowly getting more and more exasperated and beads of sweat dotting right under the bowler hat.
No,
You
Clave, I
really
know
say-
you want to shout your battle cry, but don't.
So yeah, you got the 4 altogether is the final result. And yeah, Finch takes 3 stress because, oof, you were not a stealthy group. You've made a ways in. I think you've got a decent idea for where the. So yeah, you made it in through the back tunnel. You sort of identified where the electroplasm room is, and right outside the main fighting room, where you can hear all the cheers and the bright lights going through the door, and the sounds of a bare knuckle boxing inside. And just as you're eyeing things up, side door opens up. A woman comes out with a tray of mushroom flour pretzels just in her hands, just it's coming out to bring it out to the audience again, and then just sees you all gathered there and just freezes. She looks like she opens her mouth about to scream, maybe.
Well, hello there, lady. We're the security crew on call for the night.
Someone with a good sway. Give that a roll.
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty much the talker of the group.
Oh, nice. I wasn't sure if that was sway or consort. Cool, cool. Thank you.
I'm going to say this is desperate position again because it's, I don't know, you're a bunch of strangers and I think you kind of have a shifty look about you. Actually,
I have a bloody apron on. It's probably more effective when I'm scary people, like not so much when I'm trying to go, hey, I'm just someone you don't need to worry about.
yeah, desperate position there.
Okay. Does anyone want to help out with that?
Yes, but I'm not sure how.
All you need to do to help out is say what you do and mark 1 stress.
Finch is running a little high on stress.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to help Clave here?
Yeah, I think maybe 12s can straighten himself up and look as though he's a security guard. That's the best I can do.
And Double's Bargain is probably going to take on more heat, and I think I'll probably mark 2 stress here this time because
I'm sorry. I had a plausible idea for what I might actually do. Like, I'm willing to take the stress. I show her the key and be like, see, we have the key to the door. We wouldn't have that if we weren't supposed to be here.
I think 12's already spent the stress, so we'll just go with the...
Okay, I didn't know if we could both help.
No, only 1 person can help.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, 1 person can help, another person can do a setup action if they want, but there's not really makes fictional sense here to do that right now.
Shoot.
Unless like we were flashing back to like fake some like cover story or something like that, but I don't think we need to do that here. Let's see how this goes. I'm also pushing myself for an extra die, and you said desperate standard?
Yes.
See if this... It's a 5.
Okay. She drops the tray, like runs inside and like closes the door behind her, and you like hear through the door like, "Look, I'm not gonna like make any noise or draw any attention. Just stay out of this room, okay?"
Well, I did. So is she not convinced? Because I did get a success.
Fair enough.
Like if she wants to drop the tray and that draws attention to us as the consequence.
You know what? I think that works better. Yeah, you reassure her enough, but yeah, she still drops the tray and there's a clatter and you sort of hear some footsteps coming your way from the main room and like a holler of, "Oh, God damn it, Mary, did you break another glass?"
Now let's see. It would be 1 in 6 if I wanted to resist this. Oh, I'm gonna... Those are fair odds. I'm gonna resist this. Let's see if I trauma out first session. First job. I think I kind of like skillfully like sweep under and like catch the tray before it clatters out on the ground. I'm rolling one die because this feels like a prowess resist. Oh my god. So yeah, that's trauma it out for me.
Okay.
Sorry, folks.
You do manage to. I mean, when you roll to resist a consequence, and you can roll to resist anything if you want in this game, you do succeed always. So it's just a matter of how much stress you take when you succeed. So you manage to catch it. You avoid learning feeble inside, but ooh, I guess this is just the hair that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna take. I mean, I can't really help anymore in the job. I think now, which is fair. I think we're pretty far along. But yeah, I think I'm probably taking reckless. You know what? You know what it probably is? I think probably they're like, we're down a fighter. And then I'm like, and they look at one of us and it's like, somebody's gonna need to take their place. And I'm just like, well, CO, I'm gonna have to handle this myself, I think. And I'm going off to fight in the ring.
You know what? That sounds fun. Yeah, so the server brings the pretzels into the room, none the wiser that you are. In fact, here to smash up the place. Clave is decided to step in and join the boxing ring in the center there, going up against some youth who I'm sure was a strapping young lad at one point, but he's done a bit too many drugs now, and he's just kind of a strung out and just skin, bone, and a lot of anger.
He's Marty the Machete, and I just roll my eyes. Like, Machete.
So, Drav 12's Finch, no one's got their eyes on you right now, and I think this does seem like prime time to start smashing or scaring people out. What are you thinking?
I think. Oh, let me see. Real quick, that trade did not fall. Is that correct? The trade was caught.
Yeah, the trade was caught.
Okay.
I thought, I mean, we've essentially maintained stealth. Wouldn't we just start stealing shit?
The Dimmer Sisters hired you to smash the place. She wants the place ruined. It's not just like robbed. I mean,
Yeah, I think you probably want to sabotage that engine you have back there. They have back there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The impression I got from this place being so cash-strapped is that if we took everything, they wouldn't have enough cash to keep going, but I could be wrong.
I think they also wanted to, like, salt and burn the place, though. Like, send a message.
I think that was kind of what they were going for, yeah.
Do we have any idea where the electroplasm is?
We do.
Yes, that's behind you a bit. You got a clear path right there, no guards between you and it.
All right. Well, Drav is going to. Drav reaches into his coat and he pulls out a cartridge of electroplasmic shells for his pistol. And he says, look, I say that we take as much as we can carry, and we leave behind a barrel, and I shoot it on our way out. It'll leave a mess, and it'll leave us time to get out of here.
Wouldn't a regular bullet work?
Well, a regular bullet would be a little bit less violent, I think. And I think we're aiming for violence.
Oh yeah, I just know that the spirit wardens pay attention to those.
Spirit wardens pay, I think, attention to deaths and stuff. An electroplasm bullet will make a bigger bang, that's for sure. It'll wreck more.
So the ammunition is active in the ghost field, so it will start a clock for the spirit wardens to realize that someone is using electroplasmic bullets in the area.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that would be a 1 of 4 That'd be
Yeah.
one tick on a 4 o'clock, and I feel like that is a safe enough away.
Rav, there's no need to use your super expensive cool bullets.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
kind of what I was.
channel the power of the sea and the storm into this barrel of electroplasm, and probably that will mess those lights up real bad.
Ooh, I like it.
Everyone needs to also steal as many pretzels as you can. These pretzels, be they mushroom flour or seaweed flour, any kind of flour is fine.
Okay, yeah. 12s, do you want to roll to attune to do your Tempest move?
Yeah, is that okay? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack the story. Is that cool?
Oh, absolutely.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna attune to this thing. I think, especially with this sweet move, the Tempest move, I think we can flavor this as I'm pushing some lightning in through those lights. Gonna send it all down those wires. Yeah, cool. So I'm gonna do a tune. As I grasp the electroplasmic container, and push myself to send this lightning through, and I'm not sure if that's flavor or just or maybe it's also a functional same thing as pushing for an extra die on this. Yeah, I'll give that a shot.
Okay. It's going to be risky standard effect.
Okay. Oh, sweet. We got a 5.
Okay, yeah, you ripple. You send like electricity rippling out through the lights in the main room. Everyone sees. The lights all burst at once in the main room as like lightning ripples through the wires, and people are screaming, people are panicking. Right away, I think the fight stops. Most of the audience starts running for the exit. But Drav, Finch, I don't know if you're in the state to see this, Clave, but Drav and Finch, you immediately see guy in the best looking coat, probably the bill hook leader in this area, and what flickering light is left immediately turns towards where you all are at the rear exit back towards the generator, and he's headed your way to come check things out.
I use reflexes to get into a position where he'll pass me without seeing me, so that if I need to, I can hit him over the head. That's going to happen a lot.
Yeah, I think you have no problem like hiding in the crowd for a bit as he goes past. Drav, what do you do?
Yeah, Drav is also gonna try to. Drav is gonna also step out of the way, and he is going to start looting in the chaos, I think.
I think that's going to be a prowl move to just like loot things in the chaos. Actually, prowl would work. Yeah, roll prowl to just grab things while people are distracted.
Okay.
Can I survey to see if there's like an obvious where they keep their books?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. And I'm just looking around and I'm trying to still be like kind of cash about it. So is that controlled?
Let's do Drav's roll first.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
What position and effect?
I'm gonna go with risky standard just because people are distracted a lot, even though you're carrying off valuables.
Yeah. All right. Oof, not good. That is a 2. So failure.
Okay. I think a guard, like, hand claps down on your shoulder like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Put that down and leave.
Yeah, Drav. Drav is gonna swing. I think he's gonna start a little bit of a brawl. Maybe because there is this sort of pandemonium going on inside of the area, and because it is already, an underground fighting ring, people might be in the mood to start fighting if something starts going down. And I think that Drav is going to throw the first punch here.
Okay. I think I can see Prowl doing this if you're like, let's go with skirmish. I think this is a skirmish roll. Risky standard.
Okay. What might a devil's bargain be like?
A devil's bargain, you attract attention from the other guards. Like, the other guards will notice that you're fighting and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that. Four.
Okay. Yeah, I think you swing around and you land a good punch, knocking him back. So you're free for now, but it's not. He's still on his feet, okay, and he's not down yet. Let's cut back to where 12s is in the back in the room with the generator. Actually, you shocked the place. What are you doing now? You're muted.
Can you tell me anything more about this room? Is it just the generator room, or is there plumbing involved? Is there?
Absolutely, yeah. There is a generator in here. It looks like it's a fairly portable model they just dropped off in here. Probably refitting an old place. It did used to be some utilities, so there are some old pipes running through here. They are pretty rusted, very old.
Okay, probably not like serving any part of the fighting pit or anything like that. Okay. Well, let's go towards danger. I think take the handle on that portable Jenny, and I assume things are going terribly outside. Let's leave this room and see what's happening.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and say that you electrocuted the place. The generator is actively burning right now, and not in the way it's supposed to.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
So then we won't try to steal the generator. All right. Oh, Chris, was that you?
Can you hear me now? Okay. Something got muted weirdly. Sorry about that. I think we had already said that we got the the loose electroplasm canisters out. So we have that haul at least.
Okay. So yeah, you're wheeling the generator. What are you doing with the generator exactly?
Oh, I thought it was a different thing than the vial of the barrel of electroplasm. So it is not. So that's new information. So I think just heading out into the fray, out into the other room where my friends Drav and Finch are.
Okay. Yeah, Clave, I'm not sure how far you got into the main fight before, the lights shattered and people started, running for the exits. What are you doing now?
I mean, this is my vice. I'm gonna finish this fight. I'm gonna punch this fucking Marty the meat hook out.
Okay, roll plus skirmish.
I mean, I get XP for it.
You do.
What's my position in effect here?
Marty, as far as Marty's concerned, the effect is over. The fight is over, so it's controlled position, greater effect, I'd say, because his guard is down.
Sure, let's see here. See if this works at all. That's a 5. Cool. Good to know that I'm not getting taken out by someone named Marty the Meat Hook.
Yeah, I think you're going to take one...
not Meat Hook, Machete, that's it.
Machete, yeah. You're going to take one hook as he gets a decent hit into you, like bruises you a bit. But then, yeah, you take him down fast. And meanwhile, the rest of the leader and the 2 guards in the rear room are focusing over on Drav because he punched a guard. And that's drawn their attention even as everyone else is fleeing for the exit.
So am I taking harm?
Yeah, 1 harm.
Okay, Is this the kind of fight where we're like doing it shirtless, or does it make sense for me to have armor on?
Probably a
I'll
shirtless
the
fight,
harm.
honestly, yeah.
Yeah, probably. What's the harm?
Bruised.
Okay. I have enough stress at this point that I'm not gonna I've taken 1 trauma. I won't roll to resist this.
Yeah, Finch, do you want to roll proud to loot some stuff?
I thought I was rolling survey to try to find like the books and papers.
You're right, that was it. Go ahead and roll survey.
So I think that would be controlled.
Everyone's so focused on Drav right now. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'm just some rando in the crowd moving quietly around the edges, not
just
fighting.
Point, sick him at Drav as you go doing your other stuff.
Standard effect.
Yeah.
And what would a devil's bargain look like?
The guards notice you too, and they won't just be going after Drav anymore.
So also remember, you can trade also position for effect. So if you like wanted to like just run around grabbing as much stuff as you could like bump it to like risky great.
I want to specifically target the books and papers though.
You can find more information. You know, if you want to go like risky great, you could find like some really interesting books and papers.
Okay. So survey risky great.
I will help out here. I think Drav is making a lot of noise. So
Thank you.
Give you an extra die there.
Thank you very much. Okay. 416. I find the juiciest ledgers.
Yeah, while the leader is distracted by the lights exploding and Drav picking a fight, you can just sort of head over to where he was hanging out, like look behind his desk, and you find not just the ledger, but like some not memos, just letters, some commanders from on high, basically describing like the priorities, missions for this job in particular. It's some useful info.
I steal all the information I possibly can about their finances, their funders, their allies, their enemies, any dossiers they have. Just pretty much all the paper nearby is going straight into my messenger bag.
Sounds good. Okay, yeah, heading back to Drav. That guard you sucked, he's got himself back together a bit, and he's got his friend coming over. They're heading back in for another round because they don't like getting punched.
That makes sense. Drav is well, okay, there's a lot of them and there's only one of me. So I am going to shoot around into the ceiling, and I am going to run for the back door, because it seems to me as though we have done exactly what we came for.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that'd be a prowl roll, just to book it, just run for it.
Yeah.
Is this something the crew as a whole is planning on doing at this point? Because this might be a time to call for like a group prowl if that's the case.
If everyone's ready to just run for it, I can see a group prowl to just run away. What are you thinking? Do you want to do anything else, 12s?
I think we've done sufficient work. I assume. I think if Drab were going to stay and fight, I'd be happy to stay and fight. But if we're running away, I'll take that cue.
Yeah, that works for me. We've got paid and we did the job.
All right. So
Group prowl it is. You'll be leading this time.
yeah, I can lead. I have not very much stress at all. So
Position and effect?
Risky standard, I think.
all right.
Now I roll amazingly. You see, we listened. We listened to Finch. We listened to Finch. We took Finch's advice to heart.
Yeah.
So Drav, he has his pistols have 2 shots each because they are fine pistols, and he unloads 1 round into the generator for good measure, and then 1 round into the ceiling. And with the gun going off in this enclosed basement space, and like the ensuing bang and disorientation, he and the other members of the crew, I think, just book it for the door.
Sounds good. Yeah, you take 1 stress for Finch's role. I think we can say he was weighed down with the armfuls of papers and journals and ledgers. And with that, you make it out. Yeah, the blast you sent at the bullet you sent at the generator that sets off the residual fuel still in there, so there's a fire behind you, some smoke and the darkness. They're not coming after you after that. They want out too, and you make it out. You've got your trolley full of what stuff you could steal in addition to the ledgers. It's well, it's not the greatest haul you've ever pulled, but hey, you have beer and food for tonight, and you've got some interesting ledgers. Yeah, mission accomplished.
Cool.
And now on to payoff. The crew earns 2 rep per score by default. The target of the score was higher tier, so that's up to 3 rep. I will mark that on the sheet.
It's actually 1 for each tier they're higher than you.
Oh, you're right.
So 4.
Yes, it is. Thank you. And you earn coin based on the nature of the operation. Let's call it a small job. You get 4 coin.
So that brings us up to, well, we only really have to figure this out by the end of downtime, but we're 1 coin over. So we either need to divide those 4 coins up among ourselves or spend 1 coin to not fill up our vault.
Okay. And next we do the heat part. After a score conflict with an opponent, the crew takes heat. Add +1 heat for a high profile or well-connected target. No, I don't think so. +1 heat if the situation happened on the hostile turf. Friendly turf, this was Coleridge. Add +1 heat if you're at war. Nope.
What's the base heat for this job, though?
I'd say it was contained. I mean, it's not quite smooth and quiet if you go around bursting lights and starting fires.
So how much is that?
2 heat.
Okay. And then I also took added heat as a devil's bargain.
So that'd be up to 3, I think.
Okay.
Alrighty. And now, you know what? Let's do those downtime moves next session, because after every job you do downtime moves, and we're heading up against the deadline now, or not the deadline, the end of the session. So let's save those for next time.
Cool.
Alrighty. Thank you all for joining first session. I like the crew you've put together. Nice first job. I think it's been some fun. Looking to see what you all do going forward. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the recording, and yeah, thank you all.